What's going on, everyone? I'm your host, Harry Potvin, and this show is the H Panel, the show where I bring on guests from all different backgrounds to talk all the things mental health. I know it's not Sunday, it's a Thursday, but I have a new plan for this show, and I'm just going to tell you right now. So, I've had the absolute pleasure of being joined by so many different guests on this show. This January has honestly been such a whirlwind for me. There's been so many people that have come on, have agreed to come on, have reached out. I appreciate every single person that has, agreed to do an episode with me. But in doing so, my plan was to release one episode every week, one a week. And the problem with that is that with so many episodes, I'll be near the end of summer. With episodes I'm talking to guests in January about. So the content might not be as relevant. And so because of this, my plan is I've got the mental health discussions coming out every other week. So for the weeks that those aren't coming out, I'm going to be doing Thursday and Sunday episodes of the H Panel because I have so much good content I want to share with you guys that I feel like the viewers should hear now while we're in the lockdown. Things that, ways to take care of your mental health, conversations that should be had now. That's basically why I'm doing it. So it's going to be a lot more episodes coming out way quicker, but hey man, that's just how the dice roll. So for this episode of the show, I'm joined by the lovely Courtney Russell. Courtney is a naturopath from the Guelph area who became interested in naturopathic medicine after completing her undergraduate and master's degree in integrative biology with a focus of botany. I don't know anything about botany. I don't know anything about naturopathic medicine. So this was a great guest to have to kind of open my mind to these things. Since those days, she's continued her education at the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, where she focused her work on fertility, pre and postnatal care, sports management, and pain management. She also offers some amazing services such as nutrition and lifestyle advice, botanical medicine, acupuncture, and more, which are all incredibly helpful and easily accessible on her website and on her Instagram, which I'll put both down below. She was an absolute pleasure to have on, and I want to shout out to her for being such a great guest and being so open about the answers and super helpful with nutrition advice, because Lord knows I need it. Without further ado, guys, here's the episode. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, give 5 stars, share with someone who might need to hear this. Let's keep this conversation going, all right? I'll see you next time. Enjoy the episode. Peace. I'm Harry Potvin, and this is the H Panel. Hi, Courtney. How's it going?
Good, how are you? So just with my video. Oh, right. I just I just bought one of those like covers for your uh cameras on your computer, and I was like, why isn't the video turning on? It was a very
Oh man.
stereotypical blonde moment. Anyway,
How are things? How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
I just wanted to say just saw your Insta story about Austin Powers. I love the fit.
Nice, thank you. I had to kick my cat out of the room, so that way I wouldn't be distracted.
Yeah, good idea. The cats always love stealing the show.
Yeah,
Every
definitely.
time every time I film, my cat's like, "Oh, you're filming?" And they'll just sit on the laptop. It's like, "Nope, that's not where you're supposed to go."
No, please leave. Yeah.
um
How many? You have one cat too?
yeah, I got him in December
Okay.
last year. Not this December, but the December before. Just cuz I was still in school and I was like, "I'm lonely. I need somebody
Oh,
there." So,
yeah.
he was $0 off Kijiji.
Oh, wow, that's lucky, but also I'm glad you got him and someone else didn't.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was lucky. And then she was like, "By the way, he has no shots or anything."
Oh.
Oh, so he's actually a grand. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're expensive.
It was a bit of a wake-up call, but anyway.
Yeah.
So before I got into everything, first off, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And then before we really get into it, how are you going? Like, how's motherhood during this quarantine? Like,
Oh wow, yeah. Good question. It's good. It's hard. Um, It's because you have less help, right? Like, whereas before you would have daycare or school or babysitters and kind of this community. And now you can't have anyone in your house, or you can't. It's just hard, especially with this. Like, kids aren't going to school, so it's definitely harder because you're with them all day, all the time. But my husband works from home some days, so I'm able to do these kinds of things, which
Oh,
is nice.
that's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some tips that you could give to maybe some struggling mothers out there who may not be having such a fun time right now with young children?
Oh yeah. Some tips. So in terms of what, like tips with how to improve their mental well-being or to occupy their children. You know what I mean?
Let's go with both. Yeah.
Okay. Mental well-being. So making sure taking time for yourself. So sometimes, I'm not a big person. I don't give my daughter a lot of screen time, but I will do it just to give myself like 10 or 15 minutes, like of space without, you know, trying to get them to do something they don't want to do, or feeding them, or doing this like long list of chores. So I take like 10 or 15 minutes what in the day. If I can wake up early enough, I'll do it before even she wakes up. And then if that's not an option, some people really want their sleep, then I would say like just take 10 or 15 minutes and like try to not feel so guilty, giving kids screen time or extra screen time if you need, just to give yourself that um, basically relief from constantly being on. Like, I feel like with a mom, you're just always on, watching, making sure they're not into something. So I would say just some space for yourself. Um, that would be my go-to. Um, Obviously, when we eat cleaner, we feel better. So just trying to find someone to help with like food, whether that be, there's like food programs, like HelloFresh, Good Food for Good, Chef's Plate, those kinds of food programs can kind of take weight off of, like, so I've been ordering some, like the Conscious Kitchen in Guelph is amazing. And it just gives pre-portioned meals, recipe kits, which take a lot of strain off of me.
That's really nice. I love those pre-made meals or like just packaged for you. They're so easy to
Yeah.
make.
Yeah. 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 And that's kind of, yeah. So I love them too.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're a mother out there struggling, listen to that. That's some good advice.
Yeah.
So before I get into my other questions, I just wanted you to tell the viewers kind of a little about yourself, like where you're from, what you do, and why you chose that as a profession.
Yeah. So my name's Courtney Clayson Russell. So my name's hyphenated right now. So sometimes people are always like, is your last name Clayson or Russell? Because my email says different than some other things, but I'm working to change it. So I am a naturopathic doctor in Guelph. I am also a mom of a 2.5-year-old. I have an 8-month-old puppy, and I am the creator of Well Baked Box, which is a new food program in Guelph. It's a baked good delivery service, so pre-proportioned um, recipe kits essentially is what they are. And I'm also the creator of a fertility course for practitioners. And yeah, I share a lot of my story and my life on my Instagram, and connect with a lot of wonderful people in the Guelph community. And so I got into naturopathic medicine by going through school at Laurier. I went to Wilfrid Laurier in Waterloo. So I did my undergrad there, and then I did my master's in integrative biology, but I did a focus in botany. And so there I really learned about like herbal medicine and like how well it can work, like different herbs, teas or tinctures to benefit different, things that people need. So for me, I saw a naturopathic doctor for some like hormone balance, and we used only herbs, and I loved them and it worked so well. And then I did a tour of the school and I fell in love with it, and I love helping people. So I kind of went with it and that's how I got into it.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my first area of questions kind of revolves around what you said, your fertility course. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to pronounce it because it's Latin, right? I'm not even going to try it. Fecundidus?
Pecanitas, yeah. It's Latin for the goddess of fertility. We just didn't. We wanted to make a play on word slash name that was kind of unique.
No,
So
I love it. Yeah, I just am terrible at speaking Latin, apparently.
it's okay. No, no, that's okay. Every time we give it to someone, they're like, "How do I pronounce this?" I'm like, that's okay. Maybe we should have thought of that.
Oh man. So what exactly is that course? And like I know there's 6 models. So can you give us like not in detail, obviously, but like kind of an overview of what those models are?
Yeah, so they're modules. So different
Yes.
modules. So basically, it's a course that walks you through the typical stages of a patient undergoing fertility treatments. So my husband is the director of embryology research at Create Fertility downtown Toronto, and my practice in school, and now that I've started to now that I've moved to Guelph and I work at Two Rivers Health, is very fertility focused. So we decided to do a course focused on fertility and helping different practitioners, whether they were naturopathic doctors or nutritionists, physiotherapists, anyone who kind of wants to learn more about what a fertility patient would undergo if they're doing fertility treatments and how to best support them with naturopathic medicine or physical medicine, because we kind of dive into that as well. So each module is different things. So one full module is just naturopathic medicine and physical medicine. One module is just basically all fertility treatments and what they are, what they mean, and what different drugs they're going to be on. There's another one on like case reports, the different cases that our other partner, Dr. Elizabeth Sharavati, who's an ND in Guelph, so she kind of dives into some of the cases she's done. So yeah, it was really fun to make. So that was what we made at the beginning of COVID when we were all not working and kind of like, what can we do to give back?
That's the beauty of COVID, right? We had all this free time. Everyone's making all these things.
Yeah. When did you start this podcast?
Literally 2 days before the COVID hit.
Hmm.
It's a funny, like I love telling the story to people because my second video I was making a vlog and I was like, I'm gonna take you through a day of school. And I went to school and I was like, all my classes got canceled. And then that was like that was my second video. I was like, well, that's COVID for you. And then since then it's been pew. It's just
Yeah.
it's insane.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. My first video was March 11th, and I think things shut down the 13th.
Oh wow. So like right when it's hit.
I know. Well, when I made the first video, I didn't. My friends were telling me I didn't think anything of it. It was just like that news on like Instagram where a guy was eating bat soup, and
Oh.
I was like, oh, it's nothing, whatever. Like they're getting sick over there. Who, like, it's fine. And then it came over. I was like, oh crap, it's serious.
I know. Yeah, I was naive too. I was kind of like, oh, it's not here, but then it came here, and yeah,
Oh man.
it's
Anyway,
definitely an adjustment.
yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at infertility, like there's studies showed how like women and couples who experience this, they have these deep feelings of like grief and loss and emotional distress.
Mm.
So where do patients, both male, men and female, where do they start when they're trying to deal with these this news of infertility?
Um, where do they start in terms of
Like
like how to
like
get support?
that, yeah, how to get support and like how to handle it.
Yeah. So typically a couple will be trying to conceive, and if it's either happening and there's loss, or if it's not happening, then they would go to their family doctor, who would refer them to a fertility clinic. Sometimes patients will come to a naturopathic doctor first if they've heard now naturopathic medicine is becoming more and more popular with the fertility realm, especially because it can help so much. So sometimes, so the patient would reach out to a naturopath or a fertility doctor, and they would essentially go for an assessment. So that they would get blood work and they would get scans done. There's so many different things that can potentially. So depending on the case, how long they've been trying, their age, what the blood work says, they kind of get moved into different areas of the clinic. For naturopathic medicine, we kind of treat them a little bit the same as anyone else in terms of it's always individualized care. So we're looking at just their case. It's not like we're not lumping them into you're going to just always take this supplement, this herb. It's very, what's going on in the blood work? What are you experiencing in terms of your sleep, your mood, your energy? But I would say that there is this big grief part because it's almost like the sense of people want to know like what's wrong with me, like why can't I conceive, like why is this an issue? We learn in high school that it's really easy to get pregnant, and then if it's not, people start to panic, which understandably so. So it's definitely I love to work with couples on all spheres, whether it be like physical health, mental health, um, supplements, herbs, nutrition, lifestyle, just to kind of not only help with the fertility aspect, but also help with that grief or that unknown sensation that they will feel when they're working through their fertility.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, most like the mental health system, mental health I don't even know what the word is. Like the industry, that's the word I'm looking for. The mental
Hmm.
health industry should take a note or two, cuz what you said, you're doing like individualized cases. And then when you're looking at like mental health and you're going like, "Hey, you've been diagnosed with like depression, you should take this because everyone
Hmm.
else has." Where in
Yeah.
reality we're all different. So that's some
Yeah.
great advice they should take.
Yeah, definitely. And some people don't want to be on antidepressants or anxiety medication, and some people, I would say, aren't even classified as having anxiety or depression. They just are so like they're kind of like stuck in limbo. They don't know what to do next. There's so much information. It's a lot of money fertility treatments. They're not understanding what's going on with them. So we really work with educating our patients and people. Even like I try to use my platform as an education piece on, different studies that come out that support like this increases your fertility outcomes. This increases, pregnancy outcomes, stuff like that.
Definitely. So how actually I'm going to ask this first. So why is there such a stigma around infertility?
So what do you mean a stigma in terms of like people don't want to be categorized in is it infertile, or why is infertility becoming more and more pronounced in this day and age?
Like when people hear like you're infertile, it's like the world ends. Why is there such like a great cloud over that word?
It's kind of like a daunting word, like you're infertile. It just says like it kind of, I don't like that word. I think
Mhm.
that, infertility, like infertile, is just so kind of aggressive.
Yeah.
I just think infertility treatment, like when you're going for, because you're like, your diagnosis doesn't really define you, but there's so many different things that can be potentially making you not able to conceive. So, like, I don't know, it's like, I think you can definitely accept, there's something going on, and I can move forward with it. It's kind of like the word anxiety. Like people get nervous saying like I have anxiety. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
it makes people think there's something wrong with them, which there isn't. It's just something that they're trying to work through. And so I think more and more infertility is becoming more pronounced, and people are understanding the different things that they can do to improve their fertility outcomes. And for the most part, I would say naturopathic medicine, acupuncture, um, holistic nutrition, and changes to lifestyle are really making a big comeback in terms of changes for people.
Yeah, though how do those work? Like how does acupuncture, how does that help with infertility? How does that work?
Yeah, so acupuncture. I love acupuncture. So in naturopathic medicine, we kind of in school we learn different modalities. So Chinese medicine is one of them. So that's acupuncture, herbs, cupping, electrostimulation with the Chinese medicine points and the meridians. So in that aspect with the infertility, so if we use points that are located around the reproductive area, we can bring, if you think about it as in terms of like you're putting a little needle in an area where you want to bring more blood, bring more circulation, bring more immune cells to help with, clearance, healing, lowering inflammation. So we work with actually putting it in that area of the reproductive area, and then we also work with Chinese medicine in terms of what is the person feeling, look like, what does the person look like in terms of their pulse and tongue. So in Chinese medicine, we look at their tongue and their pulse to diagnose them with something. And without getting into too much detail, because then I'll have to explain everything, and it's a lot, we can kind of use TCM diagnosis to put points in certain areas to help with the balance of the body and, you know, healing certain areas that might be causing a blockage in terms of the fertility.
That's amazing. I did not
Mhm.
know that stuff like that would work. That's
Mhm.
crazy.
We do acupuncture for everything like sleep, headaches, anxiety. Uh, I do a lot of sports medicine acupuncture too. Well, I did in school anyway, just because I used to play ultimate frisbee, and my husband has many injuries, and our friends had lots of injuries. So it's really kind of the theory of like if you put needles in a certain area, it just promotes healing. So yeah, it's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, I got hit pretty bad in rugby in high school, so I used
Mm.
that for my back.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I love acupuncture.
Yeah. Oh, great. So you've tried it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I was so
Yeah.
skeptical at first though, because the physiotherapist was like, "I'm gonna stick needles in you." I'm like, "What? No, don't do that."
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah,
you
please don't do that. It doesn't hurt, right? Like it's very
no,
gentle.
yeah, she's like, "How'd that feel?" I'm like, "You put it in?" Like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Unless they put it in like one area where like the nerves aren't happy, and then your
Yeah.
muscle tenses. But that,
Or like really tight muscles. Like there's
yeah,
sometimes where you have like a really or a knot, and if you put a needle in there, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but it's not painful.
yeah, no. It's not as scary as people think it will be.
Yeah, definitely not.
So what you're saying then is that bec infertility is a bad word, like, it's a heavy word, but you're saying that
Yeah.
infertility is, like, curable in most cases.
Yeah, I don't think infertility means like you're infertile forever. Like it's not a bad word. It's just like it's a weird word. Like I think it
Mhm.
can work. Like some people can be like, I'm struggling with infertility. Like I'm unable to conceive at this time. But I wouldn't say that if you have infertility, that means you're not going to be able to get pregnant. Absolutely not. There's always, whether naturopathic medicine we work with um, herbs, acupuncture while working with a fertility clinic and getting IVF done. It's not always a woman like, and a lot of there's like the stigma around, oh, women are infertile. Like there's male factor infertility too. It's definitely both. So we definitely, and fertility clinics as well as naturopathic doctors who focus on fertility will look at both like the male and the female. Like they look at the men and the women because they want to see what's contributing. Like, is it sperm quality? Is it sperm quantity? Is it egg quality? Is it PCOS, endometriosis? There's so many things that can contribute, and or hormonal imbalance. Like it really, I mean, there's so much that could be potentially causing it. So our goal is to kind of look at everything.
Mhm. Yeah, the body has so many factors.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how you guys do it. I wouldn't be able to recognize everything.
Oh yeah, well we go to school for it and you're still learning. Like so we created this continuing education course, and while I was creating it, I was kind of like, wow, I I have learned so much more than I knew because I was looking at different papers and I was like really deep like digging into the research. So yeah, we're always learning. It's never like you're never done.
That's right, you're never too old to learn. That's the saying.
Not at all.
So how does nutrition play a factor in helping with infertility?
So nutrition plays a factor, I think, with anything. So if we are eating, simple carbohydrates, like our primary, I would say, how do I want to start this? So in my personal experience, when I work with people, a lot of the time, simple and quick, easy foods can be very non-nourishing. Like people tend to want to stay away from fat because they think fat is bad. Fat makes you fat. That's just like misconception. Or lots of inflammatory foods. Unfortunately, with COVID, I understand like alcohol becomes like a nighttime routine because you're at home, you're not going out, you're not socializing. So having a nice glass of wine or scotch is a common thing. Having a bag of chips, having popcorn, chocolate, but all these things cause inflammation in the body, and the more inflammation we have, the less likely our body's going to do things we want it to do or feel good. So nutrition is really about making sure you're getting enough like of the macros, so getting enough protein, getting enough healthy fat. That is actually the backbone to all your hormones. So cholesterol can convert through this pathway to make estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. So we want to make sure you're getting enough healthy fats. We want to make sure you're getting enough micronutrients. So iron, selenium, things that support your body and the natural chemical processes that happen in the body. So when we look at someone's nutrition, we just want to make sure all these things are, being ticked off. Like that you're getting enough of what you should. And if you're getting a little bit too much of like the inflammatory foods, we want to create a goal for you to make it so it's a little bit less. And so maybe your body can be a little bit more balanced. So that's kind of what we look at.
Awesome. So yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that with COVID, like with the quarantine, do you think there's a rise in like infertility rates, but also like with the poor nutrition, do you think that plays a factor in the increasing mental health cases as well?
Wouldn't say I don't know for sure if quarantine has made us increase the rise in infertility. I would say I know more people getting pregnant now that COVID's a thing. But I would say that infertility, this diagnosis of infertility and couples struggling with fertility, I don't know if it's COVID related, but I do know that I think a lot of people thought, COVID is a time to get pregnant because you're at home and you're not traveling and you don't have all these things to do. So let's start our family now. And then when it's not happening, they're kind of like, well, why isn't it happening? So now I'm going to go seek help for it. So I think it's kind of the same, but maybe I know that when I was in school and now in Guelph, like I did an externship and I've worked with Dr. Liz, like I haven't seen a change in the number. It's just becoming more and more prevalent in our practice just because that's kind of what we're focused in.
Right.
Nutrition wise, I think people are at home, and they're busy. If their kids are at home full time because they're not in school right now, it's hard to, feel encouraged to eat healthy. So, it's easier to have lots of snacks in the house because you're at home, you're not moving, you're not going out, leaving the house. You're just constantly wanting to eat different things. So I think that is definitely hard. And that's kind of why we created Well Baked Box, is to teach people that and to encourage healthy baking. So baking with flours and ingredients that are rich in nutrients. Like almond flour is great. It has like high amounts of magnesium, potassium, versus just using a white refined flour. Or instead of using like white sugar, brown sugar, cornstarch, all these things that cause inflammation, like let's switch that and use maple syrup or dates, like more natural sweeteners that will be less likely to cause inflammation, spike that glucose level, and not make you feel great. So
awesome. Yeah. So do you offer, like, I know you offer the well baked box. Do you offer like not ingredients, recipes as well for people who may yeah.
Oh, the recipe kit. So it's all the pre-portioned ingredients. So like, let's say you want to make cookies. So Well Baked Box, you would order. So one of our most popular cookies was this brownie inside of a chocolate chip cookie. Oh. So we pre-measure. So part of the reason people don't like to bake is it takes so much time. You have to buy all the ingredients, you have to pre-measure them, and then you have to mix them, follow the instructions, bake them. And that's if you find a recipe that's good and that you've tried and that you trust. So we create the recipes, and then we pre-measure everything and put them in separate containers. And so we deliver it to your house, and you just have to basically follow our instructions. So sometimes it's as simple as mix everything together, stir it, and then put it in the oven for 15, 20 minutes. So that's kind of, but we're using everything gluten-free, dairy-free, and naturally sweetened. So we use maple syrup, honey, and dates a lot.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's this idea that like gluten-free and lactose-free and like everything tastes gross.
Taste gross?
There's like that idea, right? Like, cause I can't drink milk anymore. I'm so lactose, but I'll be like, yeah, I'm drinking soy milk or whatever. They're like, ugh. There's like this idea that everything that's not with milk or with gluten is so gross. So it's nice that you're making these ingredients with like that cookie brownie thing sounds so good.
Yeah, it's really good. I would say it's one of our most popular. That and the pumpkin spice scones are really good. I would say people always ask for that. And so we also do vegan options and keto because a lot of people are doing like ketogenic diets or vegan diets because they feel better mentally, physically on these. And people don't like the word diet anymore, so nutrition plans, whatever you want to call them. I mean, I just encourage people to do what makes them feel good. It's not about some sort of fad, you know what I mean? Like if your goal is to lose weight, like here are the options to lose weight. Like how can I best support you do that so that you feel good? Because
Mhm.
that's my goal. Um, and yeah, so we do the keto options, the vegan options, and yeah, they're really fun.
Awesome. So your thoughts on vegan diets, are they effective, and why do people love bashing vegans?
I don't I don't actually know per se like why people love bashing vegans. I think it's just sometimes there's extreme versions of every person. So sometimes if there's, extreme vegans who only want people to conform to their ways, then I think they're the ones getting the backlash. Because I know lots of vegans, they love the vegan diet, they feel better on the vegan diet. Again, everyone is individualized, right? So do something that works for you. Don't do it because someone told you. I mean, if someone says this made me feel good and you try it and you feel better on it, do it. Like that's great. But don't feel like you have to feel good on something that someone else does. Because I have a lot of friends who are on ketogenic diets and they live like a keto lifestyle and they love it. I have other friends on a vegan diet. They love it, but then they're so different, right? So it really, whatever makes them feel good. It shouldn't be, I mean, one way or the other. There's research to support whether just, I think that the biggest goal is to eat whole foods, a variety of foods. So as long as you're doing vegan correctly and you're doing keto correctly, because there's ways to do them both wrong. If you're doing a vegan diet and you're just eating processed foods, because it's really easy to do that, or junky foods and you're not having lots of fruits, vegetables, you're not getting enough protein from bean sources, then that will be an issue. And sometimes vegans have to supplement, just like people who are doing ketogenic diets will have to supplement with some of the things they're going to be missing. Um, and ketogenic diet doesn't just have to mean bacon and cheese with every meal. You can still do so many things with keto, and it has helped so many people. So really, it just depends on who you are and what your values are and what works well for you.
Mhm. I'm not too familiar with a keto diet. What is that?
The ketogenic diet is a high fat, low carb diet. So it was really big with the Atkins diet, so you would just eat lots of fat and you would cut out. So you cut out there's no carbohydrates, there's no sugar. You basically get most of your meat, most of your fat from, coconut oil, avocado, protein sources like different meats. It does restrict you with some vegetables as well, so it's definitely like a weight loss diet now, but it is very effective for patients who are looking for an alternative medicine to type 2 diabetes or epilepsy, um, different mood or behavioral um, uh, people with some mood or behavioral issues can also benefit from the ketogenic diet.
Mm.
So yeah,
Cool. I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's definitely a fun diet. So I've done all the diets. I kind of rotate through them when I see fit, just because I like certain ones and I feel good on different ones at different times. Um, yeah, it's good.
Have you ever tried the carnivore diet?
No, I haven't. I have friends who've tried it though.
And does it work or
They didn't really like it. It wasn't sustainable. It didn't make them. I think at the beginning it kind of made them feel good, but then over time they really missed the vegetables and the fruit. So it wasn't long term.
yeah, I feel
A
like you
ketogenic diet is very similar, but at least you get to eat the vegetables and like the healthy fats and stuff.
yeah, right. So what's the most successful diet in terms of like uh sustainability and like environmentally friendly? That's
Oh yeah, that's a good question and a hard question. So what's the best diet in terms of you asked in terms of being environmentally friendly and sustainable?
yeah.
Um, oh, I would say probably a Mediterranean diet blend. Like paleo is hard, I would say, and it's good, and I love the paleo diet because you're eating very lots of like a variety of foods and whole foods. But it can be hard because it cuts out a lot of legumes, which is in everyday things, they're enjoyable and they're good protein sources. So a Mediterranean diet is more of like more meat and vegetables and a little bit of starch or complex carbs on the side. I would say sustainability would be eating a variety and not just one of everything. So now more and more I'm reading about almond milk used to be this big thing, and it is still big, like alternative milk, nut milk source, but it is really hard to process and it's affecting the bees. So now they're trying to make a movement towards other nut variety milks or oat milk or soy milk. So
Yeah, the almonds were like taking up all the water, right?
yeah, they take a lot of water. So I think it's always changing, right? I always like every month there's something new, which is interesting. So I think just keep eating a variety and just um, making yourself feel good would be the most important thing.
Yeah, 100%. Have you heard of the blue zones?
Mm-mm.
So I was talking to a guy. His name's Di Manuel a couple weeks ago. He was talking about how they did this study where there were different parts in the world, and they took like different areas of each continent or where they had the highest age life expectancy.
Hmm.
And they called these like the blue zones, and there were elders living there to be like over 100, but they weren't like our idea of people over 100. They were like contributing to society. I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean like they were like walking around, they were talking to people, they were working, they were doing things, and they found that they were doing specific diets. That was a factor. It wasn't like the main factor, but it was one of the big factors as to why they were living much longer and like healthier.
Hmm.
And I think they were talking about how they were using diets like the Mediterranean and the Japanese diet.
Hmm.
I don't know much about the Japanese diet, but what's in diets like these? Like how can we make our own personalized versions, like the Mediterranean diet, let's say, because I don't know what the Japanese diet is, but
I don't know what the Japanese diet is either. Mediterranean diet is more it's like again this like concept of whole foods, like not using processed foods, so not doing quick and easy fix like anything battered, like you wouldn't be having anything that you have to make everything essentially. I mean, there are some options now, which is great. Like you can buy boxed that are super easy and fun, but it's getting a lot of healthy fats. So lots of fish, lots of nuts, lots of avocados, oils. So olive oil, coconut oil. Making sure you're cooking with the right oils is important too, because vegetable oil and canola oil are more inflammatory oils versus like the avocado oil, which has a high smoking point and has the least amount of um, inflammation that would be caused in the body. What else? It has complex carbs, so whole instead of there's never really any white flours. It's always like whole grain or like something like sourdough would be a great option. Lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, lots of antioxidant fruits, so like berries, um, blueberries, raspberries, black, like all the varieties. So it's really about eating a variety, but healthy varieties, and a lot of each of them.
right, yeah, awesome. So
Yeah, I
how?
just find go ahead.
No, no, please.
Oh, I just find it's hard with the lack of time we have nowadays, and because so much of us are working all the time, and if we have kids, there's like kids always around, and we're home, and it can be hard, or the lack of motivation to like learn how to cook these different ways. Like we're sometimes as a society set in what we're taught, right? So it's hard to learn how to cook differently, which I totally understand. It took us a while, as my husband and I, to figure it out. But more and more, like we definitely do new and different things all the time to change it up. But it
Yeah.
can be hard, and it fails a lot. But
Yeah,
it's okay.
that's a great idea. You got to spice it up. I think the problem is a lot of people are looking for like quick fixes right now. That like easy, like you put in a microwave for 30 seconds and it's good to go. Like that
Yeah.
college diet. That's what I'll call it.
Oh, the college diet. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I find like think of what's around you. Like there's not many. There's some great places in Guelph, downtown Guelph, but in the South End, if you're a student living in the South End Guelph, there's not many options for like healthy food. Like they just, I mean, there's Freshie now, which is great. Freshie, I love Freshie, But all the places to go out for dinner are very, pub food, which is enjoyable once in a while, not all the time. Whereas if you're downtown, you have grassroots and Crazy Carrot, so many. Like I love Bon Gusto, and I'm probably missing a bunch, but I like go through them all. But yeah, I love, and then they have those, great meals that have a balance of everything.
Yeah, they got to put a couple more in the south.
Yeah, yeah, definitely more in the south. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, Freshie and Kenzo ramen are like my go-to, and I would just get like the vegetable ramen because it's so
Mm.
good.
I've been getting more into ramen. Like all through uni, I was like, I don't like that. And then in fourth year, we started going, and I was like, oh, I do like that.
Nice. Are you in fourth year now?
I'm in fifth year.
Fifth year, nice.
Yeah, I was supposed to. It's so stupid. I was supposed to graduate last semester, but one of my
Mhm.
courses that I took in the summer wasn't sciencey enough to be considered
Um,
for my degree. So I have one course left. I'm in one class.
okay. Oh wow. So you have lots of time for your podcast then.
So much time. So much time.
That's good.
Yeah. So my last question for you
Mhm.
is how can we nip these unhealthy habits we've accumulated? How can we nip these in the butt? The bad habits that we've made through quarantine or this past year, like in terms of nutrition.
Yeah. I mean, so whether it be um I'd probably start with talking to someone, to seeking some sort of like if that's accessible to some people, it's not accessible to you. So I'll start with, if it's accessible to you, to see, like a holistic nutritionist, a naturopathic doctor who can work with you one on one with, what are your allergies, what things do you not like, what things do you like. Here is, recipes you can try. Here is a good plan for you. That's where I would start, just because it's so much easier, because we try to really work with you so that you're as compliant as possible. If that's not something you're open to, or have access to, then I would say, if you're on social media, there's lots of pages you can follow that show different recipes and different ways to eat. There's different recipe books you can get, or online tools. So just slowly, including new foods that might be outside of your comfort zone, but will be in the long run great for you, into your diet, I think, slowly. So again, if you're lacking energy or motivation, there's other options that can deliver right to your door. So the Conscious Kitchen was a wonderful experience. I know there's a couple other ones in Guelph, like local ones, and then HelloFresh or Good Food would be another option to kind of, again, have everything pre-portioned, sent to your house with instructions on how to do it.
I love it. Yeah. So many resources.
I know sometimes it's like overload, which is why I like being able to give people handouts, or give them. I'm working on recipe books, which I'll have accessible to people so that they can kind of like slowly work with different foods. But yeah, I mean, it's as simple as, let's say you're a big pasta lover. I just made this post, so that's why I'm going off of it. So let's say you're a huge pasta lover, like I am. I love pasta, spaghetti sauce. It's always been a staple of my life. But I don't really feel good eating, what, like just regular noodles, because I don't think they provide a lot of nutritional value. It's a lot of calories. It's a lot of just carbs. There's not much else unless you're having a great sauce on top. So instead of that, I use lentil, like the chickpea lentil noodles, or the other ones, black bean noodles, which have so much protein, so much fiber, and can help us feel way better than, this like bloating sensation we can get after having a bunch of carbohydrates, especially like some of the like brands you can get from the grocery store. So these ones you can buy from Goodness Me, Well, Amazon even. I know Zares and Longo's have really great health food sections. So just, or even as simple as like spiralizing, like grating a zucchini, like that can be your noodle base, and it's just going to provide you way more nutrients than, a regular noodle with pasta sauce, if that makes sense. Like this is kind of where I'm going with it. So making small tweaks in your diet, and then you can kind of be like, oh yeah, I like that, or I didn't like that. Slowly, I could like list a bunch. Like I'll do one more. Ketchup. People love condiments. Condiments are full of sugar. They're full of cornstarch. They're not that great. for you, unfortunately. So why not try? And this woman, I'm pretty sure it's from Guelph, Good Food for Good. The ketchup. Have you seen those condiments?
Uh,
Ketchup, barbecue sauce, curry sauces.
I might have. I don't remember them though.
Okay, well, they're in lots of grocery stores now, but I remember before COVID, I had like a taste test. So they're sweetened with dates only. There's no added sugars. They're very Whole30, very whole food. So I had our friends over. This was like almost 2 years ago, I guess, because it was before COVID. And then we kind of did like a taste testing of like who can tell which one is which. And like most people really enjoyed and couldn't really tell much of a difference. They almost liked the natural ones better. So there's ways to slowly tweak these things to make your diet better. Or Bake Box. Like if you're open to trying some new recipes, try something that's gluten-free, dairy-free. Or I post all my recipes always. Like I'm very open with posting them so that people have access to them, so that people can try them. If they can't afford a Bake Box, so they don't want to, that's totally fine. I want people to be more involved with healthy baking so that they feel better.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Sorry for that long rant. That's kind of where we work with the nutrition piece and how to eat better and make a change.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's all about like trial and error.
Yeah.
I mean, what better time than now, right?
Yeah.
So,
We're at home and there's definitely ways to do that for sure.
yeah.
Especially with food. We eat food 3 meals a day at least, like 3 meals, and then there's snacks. If you're gonna make a change, like nutrition can be one that has like the biggest, fastest impact.
Mm-hmm.
It can be hard. Like cutting sugar is very hard. But once you cut it and then you feel how good you feel and you're like, wow, I was really addicted to that. Probably not good for me all the time, every day, multiple times a day.
Just snacking on straight sugar.
Yeah, or like sugar in coffee, sugar in tea, and then, people don't realize sugar's in ketchup, sugar's in tomato sauce, some of them. There's so many things that sugar's in, and you don't even, like salad dressing.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're like having sugar all the time, and it's just, I don't think it's necessary. You can make some really great things yourself, or buy ones that don't have that added. You just have to be informed with what those options are.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you say that the ketchup you were talking about was made from dates?
Yeah. It's sweetened with dates.
Huh.
I know. It's so good.
Really? I gotta
try
check
it out. Yeah. I'll link you it because I've tried her barbecue sauce. It's like a taco seasoning, ketchup. I don't work for them at all. I'm not affiliated with them. I just really love her stuff. I love anyone who wants to like make people eat healthier in a good way and like that still tastes good. Yeah, I love that brand. That's a really good one. So, but yeah, with dates.
Yeah, I'm a big ketchup guy, so I'll have to try that one.
Try it, yeah. And you live in Guelph, so I know it's everywhere. Ozaires, Longos, goodness me. I always see it.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
Where can my viewers find you?
I always get asked this question. I'm like, they can find me on Instagram. I mean, my email is listed on my website, so you can always like send me an email. But Instagram is obviously something that I do most of my work from, so I always respond to private messages, and they can find me at Courtney Jade Health.
Love it. And with that, I am done. Courtney, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This is my first podcast, so you should feel.
Your
I've done
first?
live, but it's my first. That's why I didn't even know we had started.
Look at that.
I was like, oh, okay, we're jumping right in. Love it.
Yeah, that's great. I feel absolutely honored. Wow.
Thanks.
And to all my viewers, I will see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of my show. If you want more episodes of the H Panel, the button's going to be right here. If you want to subscribe for more videos from myself, it'll be right down below. Please like, comment, share, give 5 stars. Let's keep this conversation going, guys, all right? I'll see you next time. Thank you for your support.